This is not a scratch. This is a time bomb. And its timer has just been activated. It is hidden inside the one component whose failure is accounted for in no flight manual. 8 months from now, this microscopic crack will kill 273 people. While the pilots in the cockpit follow their emergency procedures to the letter. Chicago. O'Hare Airport. A perfect spring day. American Airlines Flight 191, a wide-body DC-10, taxis onto the threshold of runway 32R. On board are 258 passengers and 13 crew members. The captain is Walter Lux, a World War II veteran, one of the most experienced pilots in the airline. His first officer and flight engineer are professionals of the same caliber. 3:04 in the afternoon, local time. Clearance for takeoff is given. The 3 General Electric engines spool up to takeoff power. The hum builds into a roar. 155 tons of metal, kerosene, and hope begin their roll down the concrete. Speed builds. 140 knots. 150. The pilots gently pull back on the control yokes. The nose wheel lifts off the ground. At that exact moment, a dull, metallic thud echoes through the airframe. Not a scream, not an explosion. A thud. As if a giant hammer had struck the fuselage. In the cockpit, the instruments for the left engine go dark. The hydraulic and pressure warning lights flicker on for a second. And just as suddenly go dark. The panel falls silent. Only the altimeter's needle continues to climb, while outside, the left wing begins to sag. What did the pilots see? They saw the failure of their left engine. A serious, but standard, emergency. The procedure is drilled and clear. Maintain exactly 153 knots of speed, retract the flaps on schedule, notify air traffic control, and prepare to return. Captain Lux's confident voice crackles over the radio. Chicago, this is American 191 Heavy. We've got an emergency. We've lost number 1 engine. He did not know the problem was not the engine. He did not know the engine was already gone. A second before liftoff, the entire left engine pylon, the massive steel fork that attaches the engine to the wing, had failed. The engine tore free, flipped over in the air, and crashed onto the abandoned runway. But this was only the first, visible consequence. Because with that engine, the airplane lost much more than thrust. It lost all hydraulic power to the left wing. The lines, routed through that very pylon, were severed like arteries. And the aircraft's computers, detecting a catastrophic pressure loss, did the logical thing in their electronic minds. They shut down the damaged systems. To avoid distracting the pilots with false alarms. So the airplane began lying to its masters. The crew saw a picture of just an engine failure, while the aircraft was mortally wounded. It had lost control of the slats on its left wing. And that was the sentence of death. While the pilots, following their checklist, held 153 knots, aerodynamics conducted its own ruthless calculation. The left slats, deprived of hydraulics, began to retract on their own. The right slats remained extended. A monstrous imbalance was born. The right wing now generated more lift than the left. The plane began a slow, inexorable roll to the left. Increased thrust, comes the call in the cockpit. The 2 remaining engines scream at maximum power. The pilots haul the control yokes to the right, full deflection. There is no response. Without left hydraulics, the ailerons on that wing are dead. The plane does not obey. The bank angle increases. 20 degrees. 40. 70. They are now flying almost vertically, wingtip toward the earth. Outside the window, the horizon is replaced by the rooftops of a suburban neighborhood, drifting upward. Pull up! Pull up! It's a shout now. A final, desperate attempt. But at such a bank, the elevators are almost useless. 112 degrees of bank. Altitude. Less than 1,000 feet. On the ground, people watch, mesmerized, filming this surreal sight. A giant airliner, frozen on its side in a clear blue sky, its engines howling in a death scream. And then, silence. The engines cut out. The aircraft, like a felled giant, disappears behind a line of hangars. The impact, half a mile from the runway, creates a fireball. 173 people on board and 2 on the ground die instantly. Several more will die later in the hospital. The final toll. 273 lives. The investigation began at once. Investigators found the engine on the runway. And the key piece of evidence. The pylon. Metallurgical analysis revealed a clear, fingerprint-like fatigue crack zone. This crack was not born yesterday. It had grown for months, cycle after cycle of takeoff and landing. And its origin was not in the sky, but on the ground. 8 months before the crash, this DC-10 underwent maintenance at an American Airlines hangar in Tulsa, Oklahoma. To save 200 man-hours of labor, mechanics violated the engine removal procedure. Instead of first detaching the engine from the pylon on a stand, they removed them together using a forklift. This placed a colossal, uncalculated stress on the pylon's upper mounting point. Deep within the heart of the metal, that microscopic crack was born. It passed all subsequent visual inspections. And it became a time bomb. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. This optimized procedure was not Tulsa's secret. It was known and used by other airlines operating the DC-10. The problem was systemic. The system's response was unprecedented. The Federal Aviation Administration suspended the airworthiness certificate for every DC-10 in the world. The entire fleet, hundreds of aircraft, was grounded. Every single plane underwent a meticulous pylon inspection. Maintenance procedures were rewritten from scratch. The crash of Flight 191 was not a random accident. It was a precise, calculated payment. Payment for an invisible compromise between safety and economy. It forever changed the philosophy of aviation engineering. Before Flight 191, engineers thought about how to make systems reliable. After, they thought about how to make them fail operational or fault-tolerant. How to design an airplane to survive even that which is considered unthinkable. Survive an engine tearing off. Survive the severing of all hydraulic lines on one wing. Today, in every modern airliner, in every Boeing and Airbus, lives the ghost of this lesson. 3 independent, separated hydraulic systems. Duplicated, shielded wiring. Critical components rated for loads that are never supposed to occur. 273 people paid with their lives to teach the world's engineers a simple rule. In aviation, there are no small details. There are no unimportant procedures. One cut corner, one invisible crack, can start a chain reaction that no pilot's experience, no engine's power, can stop. Flight 191 fought for 38 seconds. Its ultimate victory was ensuring that no other flight in the world would ever have to follow its path. If this technical analysis was valuable to you, please support the channel. Your like helps YouTube recommend this video to others interested in aviation. And your subscription grants you access to future investigations, where we'll dissect the causes of other historic disasters.